was 7, my dad suddenly became critically ill. We all prayed that God would spare his life, but a couple of days later, my dad died. The previous Saturday, we had gone out to the beach to a favorite place for a family picnic. Life was good and fresh, and innocent. This Saturday, we would have his funeral. Dad was gone, and my world had changed. This had a tremendous impact on my life and my relationship with God. Prayer, it seemed to me, was like a phone call, a conversation when nobody was at home on the other end of the line. If God existed, he didn't care enough to pick up the phone. In the years that followed, all the way through high school, I became increasingly skeptical about God. In college, my skepticism matured into disbelief. My problem was not a lack of knowledge of the Bible. I knew all the Bible stories and the main characters. My problem was a lack of any reason to think that it might be true. My junior year in college, I began working every other semester with NASA on the Apollo program. We were preparing to do something that had never been done before in all of human history: put Neil Armstrong on the surface of the moon. These were exciting times. I should have been on top of the world. However, I was not. Something was missing. I remember one night, trying to go to sleep, I came to realize something. The massive pyramids of Egypt are crumbling. The great Roman Empire that ruled the whole known world for 1,000 years lies in ruin. And I was quite sure that someday the Apollo program would be just a footnote in a dusty history book. Solomon was right. All human endeavors are temporal and soon pass. Without God, life has no ultimate meaning or purpose. So I came to realize that if he exists, the decision concerning our relationship with God would be the most important decision a man or woman could ever make. But I had a problem. I had absolutely no reason to believe in God. So I prayed a simplistic little prayer. God, if you exist, please let me know. Well, I got involved in work, went back to school, time passed. I forgot about my little prayer. But a year later, I met a girl who was different. After our first date, she invited me to church. Now, I wasn't particularly interested in church at that time, but I was interested in her. So I said, well, where are we going to church? That was my first trip to Mayfair. Later that same week, there was a knock on my apartment door, and there stood a man I had never seen before. His name was Clyde Jones. Clyde said he was a member at Mayfair, and Clyde was prepared to provide precisely what I had asked God for: evidence of his existence. God, the same God who knelt to wash the apostles' feet, had condescended to answer my simple little prayer.